According to a new poll published by the Washington Post, a majority of Republicans think that the Capitol rioters who stormed the Capitol last January 6th were mostly just peaceful. Bunch of calm, collected, cool individuals just happened to be doing an insurrection, I guess. But they were totally peaceful as long as you ignore the 5 people who died as a result of the riots. Yeah, beyond that, and of course the officer that got hit in the face with a fire extinguisher and all of the other injuries suffered by both the protesters and the police officers. Yeah, ignore all of that, the Republicans tell us. Totally just a peaceful day. Regular old day at the Capitol, if you ask me, right? But what's even more disturbing about this new poll is that for Republicans who watch Fox News, an extra 15% of them are more likely to say that everything that happened that day was totally peaceful. Let me read this from the Washington Post. Philip Bump at the Washington Post. Most Americans describe the rioters as, quote, mostly violent, though Republicans are more likely to say that they were mostly peaceful. If we break out those Republicans into those who do or don't get their news from either Fox News or Fox's website, we see a significant difference. Fox News Republicans are 15 points more likely to say the rioters were mostly peaceful, and non-Fox News Republicans 16 points more likely to say they were mostly violent. So there is a clear divide, even among Republicans. If you watch Fox News, you're more likely to believe in a fantasy. If you don't watch Fox News, you're more likely to accept the reality of what we all saw happen that day. And it gets even worse. One of the ways Trump's allies have sought to redirect concern over the violence that day has been to insist that those detained for their roles have been treated unfairly by the justice system. Here, too, our poll found a significant difference. Fox News consuming Republicans were 15 points more likely to say that the legal punishments faced by accused rioters have been too harsh. Majority of Americans, by the way, in this poll said the punishments have not been harsh enough. And do you know why most Americans think that? Because we were sitting here watching it unfold on our phones, on our tablets, our PCs, our TVs. We watched what happened that day. And of course, we've seen all the extra footage that came out after that. We know these people were not peaceful. That's not to say all of them were violent, but as a whole, this was not a peaceful movement. These were individuals who wanted to disrupt the role of Congress to certify the Electoral College results so that Donald Trump got to keep playing president. That's what this was. And you can dismiss it, you can downplay it all you want, but that doesn't change the fact that that was their goal, folks. But Fox News is a cancer. Fox News is a cancer to everyone who watches it. They literally are brainwashing you. They are telling you that up is down, that left is right, that black is white. They are convincing you that what really happened didn't actually happen. It happened the other way. You're just misremembering if you think it was violent. You have to remember all the people who weren't out there committing crimes. This is a problem with this country. The media we consume, and Washington Post actually says the opposite of this, but I'm going to go ahead and say the media we consume shapes our worldviews. Now, according to the Washington Post article, they say, we don't want to point out there's a correlation or causation. There's correlation, but not necessarily causation. It could be that people who hold these views seek out Fox News. Not that Fox News is causing the people to have these views. And I would believe that had my political science trained mind not taught me how to read polls, and when there's a consistent basis where the viewers of one particular piece of media believe something more than anybody else, it's coming from that piece of media. And that's what this is. Fox News has brainwashed a generation. I think the best thing I've ever seen, and I don't know who to attribute this to, I certainly didn't come up with it, is Fox News did to our parents what our parents thought violent video games were going to do to us. Whenever I saw that, it was on Twitter, a meme, I don't remember what it is, but That stuck with me because that's true. And the media we consume does, in fact, shape our worldview. Now, we may seek out media outlets that say things we already agree with, but the more they reinforce it and then continue on to say other things, we're more likely to accept those other things because they've already said things we agreed on beforehand. That's how it works. That's how the brainwashing works. They don't take an average person off the street and say, hey, January 6th was totally peaceful and everything was normal. The average person can say, no, it's not. But if you slowly pull these people in over the years with a couple of truths here and there, tell them a couple things that they already agreed with or already believed, it makes them more likely to believe the bigger lies when it comes down to it. And that is exactly what we see in this new poll.